how to play cribbage. Well, why are we in a wood shop? Some of you might be wondering if you're coming to this video not from the woodworking side of things. So I'm a woodworker, I make cribbage boards, I make a lot of awesome things in this space, and a lot of people just don't know what cribbage is, so I thought I would make a video, what is cribbage, how to play. Also, I'm a 5th grade teacher and I teach my students each year, so I figured let's make a video and show them how to play cribbage. Great game. So, how to play cribbage. So first off, what is cribbage? Cribbage is a card game that's played on a board. So we have a crib board, a cribbage board, where we take pegs, and the board is just used to keep track of your score. And so you work your way around this track on this particular design. You're trying to get 121 points. It's a great game. I love playing this game as a 2-player game. It can also be played in 3-player, 4-player, other variations. But for this video, we're going to focus primarily on a 2-player game. Loads of other videos if you want to really get into the weeds on all the nuances, but this is just a quick overview on cribbage to get you started. So, 2-player game, board, pegs, cards. Let's go. All right, so for our purposes, we're playing this 2-player game. We'll use this board as our example. So in this game, we have the 2 brass and we have the 2 black, brass and black. This space right here is just to keep track of your score. So how many games you've won, you know, if you want to play a best out of 7, best out of whatever you want to play. But here's where we start, and then we're going to work our way up and all the way around, and whoever gets to 121 first wins this game. So for this game, you use a standard deck, you shuffle, you cut to see who deals. So I cut an 8, and my partner cuts, let's say they take the other one, let's say they cut a king. So low card goes first. I had an 8, so that means I'm the dealer. And so then I'll deal out the cards. For our purposes, I just did some sample hands. These are going to be some pretty good hands, just so you know. And we get cards, we get cards. Now, what do these cards mean? How are we scoring? Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll slow it down. You can pause, keep coming back to look at these different scoring options. So each person gets 6 cards. Now, over time, you're going to figure out which cards make the most sense. You're going to be doing, trying to get some runs. So if I get a run of 3, that's going to be 3 points. If I get a pair, that's going to be worth 2 points. Eventually, I'm going to get points. We'll talk about those combinations later. But let's just say, for the sake of this example, I have these cards and these cards. When you're dealt your cards, you can only keep 4 cards. So you'll select 2 cards that will go to the crib. So let's say this partner is like, I'm the dealer, this is my hand. My partner that I'm playing with, they kept these cards. And then they took these 2 cards face down and they placed them over here. Here's the crib. Here is my hand. And I'm going to take these 2 cards and place them there. Now, we'll talk strategy later. We can get into all those nuances later. So I have my hand, they have their hands. It's secret, we hold it, great. And then what happens is whoever is not the dealer, they will then cut the deck. They'll cut the deck and let's say, all right, whatever that card is, they flip it. Let's just make this a little bit easier and let's just say it's a king. All right, so it was a king, so that card is up on top. Okay. I have 4 cards, partner has 4 cards. At the end of the game, those 4 cards for the crib, I will get to use as the dealer to make points. Again, we're trying to make points. Okay, now while this is a YouTube channel, woodworking, blah, 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 all the peoples, I really am mostly concerned about my 5th graders here because they're gonna watch this, 10 and 11-year-olds, so we're slowing down. You got this, and for anyone, this applies to anyone. Learning a new game, I learn new games all the time. Usually I learn best just playing. So this is an overview. I'm not going to go into all the details. You just got to start playing. Then maybe you're going to come back to the video, watch it over and over. Sure, absolutely. Engagement, watch it over and over again. But let's just jump in. So back to it. I got 4, they got 4. Now let's start playing. All right. So the dealer, remember the dealer is whoever cut the low card. At the end, I'll get these cards. The dealer doesn't start. So my partner will pick a card to start. So let's just say they start with, we'll talk strategy at another time. We're just playing right now. Let's say they play a 7. So there's some adding here. Of course there is. I'm a 5th grade teacher. Let's add. So they played 7. In this game, before the first phase, we are pegging. And we're trying to make 15s. We're trying to match up cards to make a 15, or pairs, or runs, or 31s. So in this situation, they put 7. Then I play a 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. Then they play a card. Now I played a 7, they played a 6. This is again a little bit more confusing, but let's just say 7 plus 6 is 13. Then they play an 8. So there's going to be some adding. 13 plus 8. 13 plus 8, take your time. Oh, you got it. It's 21. All right. Now in that situation, that's not a 15. If it makes a 15, they would get 2 points. But it's not a 15. But the last 3 cards was a run. A 6, 7, 8. Even though it wasn't in order, because the last 3 cards was a run of 3, 3 in a row, or 4 in a row, 5 in a row. It has to be at least 3 in a row. They get 3 points. So 3 points. So this is the start. 1, 2, 3. So this is the first phase called pegging. All right, so it's at 21. Now it's my turn. 21. I can't go over 31. So I'm going to just say I'm going to do 26. 21 plus 5 is 26. But look, I had a 5, 6, 7, 8. The last 4 cards were also in a run. As far as the runs, that's kind of a little bit later on. Don't worry if you don't pick up on those right away. But the last 4 cards were 4 in a row. So I get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now it's my partner's turn. My opponent's turn. So we have 21. I made 26. It's their turn. They can't go over 31. So they would need a 5 or less, because 5 would make it 31 exactly, which would get them 2 points. They don't have that. They don't have a 4, 3, 2, or an ace. An ace in this game is 1. So what they would say is go. They're unable to play. So it's my turn. If I can play, I have to. So I could play 4. If I played 4, that would put me to 30. Or I could play 5, and that would put me at 31. If you ever play a card that lands at 15, it's worth 2 points. If you ever play cards that equal 31, it's worth 2 points. We'll review these points at the end again. I'll just say I'm going to play a 5. I could do the 4 and then I'd have a run of 5. That's ridiculous. This isn't normal. So let's say I do a 5. That puts it to 31. 31 gets me 2 points. 1, 2. You really only need to remember 15 and 31. Those are the 2 that gets you 31. But the last 2 cards played, was a pair. A pair is worth 2 more points. So I got 31 for 2, and then I get another. See how the back peg, it tells me where I'm at? So now I go up to 1, 2. So that's how I peg. I keep going forward. So right now, that's done. We hit 31. Now, because I played the last card, they have to start. Okay? So they've already played these. I've already played these. Let's say they play a 7. Then I have to play the 4. It's at 11. That's nothing fancy. And then they play the 9. 11 plus 9 is 10. 10's not a 15, but they play the last card. There's no more cards. They got the last card, so they get 1 point for last card. There's lots of points. This is a fun game. I promise it's not too complicated. It is worthwhile. Try it a couple times. You'll learn the points over time. Print off a reference page. All right. So that is the end of this round of pegging. So we played our cards separately. So now what we do is we score what our hands are. My opponent will go first. So in this situation, they had a run of 3. So that's 3 cards in a row, a 7, 8, 9. That's worth 3 points. But they have this 7 as well. So they got 3. And now they have another run of 3. That's 2 separate runs of 3. So this is what's called a double run. You don't need to remember that, but we have 3 plus another 3, so that's 6 points. They have a pair. That's worth 2 points. So they have 8. But wait, there's more. 7 plus 8 makes 15. So that's worth 2 points. If I can make a 15 with the cards in my hand, that's worth 2. So I had 8 points plus another 2 makes 10 plus this makes 15. 7 plus 8 is 15. For another 2, 12. That's a really good hand. They get 12 points. I forgot, when you're doing this part at the end, you get to use the top card. Now this card didn't help them at all. Let's say if this was a 7, that would help them. If it was an 8, a 9, that would help them a lot, obviously. In this game, face cards, kings, queens, and jacks are 10. So this player got 12 points. So then they would peg 1. They were in little groups of 5. So you can go 5, 10, plus that 11. I can just jump ahead, or you can just go slow. So they got 12 points. Now it's my turn. All right, so I got 6, 5, 5, 4. So again, that same idea as before. This is that double run, where I have a run of 3. That's 3 in a row. 4, 5, 6. 3 points. 4, 5, 6 for another 3 points. So I'm at 6. A pair for 8. So a double run is usually always going to be 8, but there might be some 15s in here. Well, if we add up these numbers, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. So I had 8 plus a 15, that makes it 10. Let's use this 5, another 15. Now I'm at 12. But wait, there's more. I can use this 10. This king is worth 10. So I'm at 12 points right now, which is the same thing my opponent had. That makes it 15 for 14 points. And that makes it 15 for 16 points. Now I'm giving you some outrageous hands here. That's 7, 12, 14, 16. Typically, we don't have as, great hands. I'm just showing some examples of big hands. If you get 8 in a round, if your hand gets you 8, that's great. Now remember, I'm the dealer, so after I've pegged on my turn, I got to look at these cards. So I threw 2 of these cards, and my opponent, picked 2. There's some strategy involved. You'll get to it in time. So let's look. What do I have here? So I have a pair, the kings. That's worth 2 points. And I have a 5 and the king. That makes it 15. That's another 2 points. So 2 plus 2 is 4. There's no run because I have 2 in a row. I don't have 3 in a row. I have 2 in a row, not quite. So I got 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that's one round. So then you take all the cards. Stick with me, stick with me. Take all the cards, and you'll go ahead and shuffle. We're doing this real time. This is high-end video quality right here. Okay, that's a great shuffle. You'd shuffle more. And now, since I was the dealer last time, now my opponent deals. Okay, so they're dealing, so they are going to get those extra features that I got last time. I lost count because I'm multitasking. Okay, all right, so 6 cards each. We're not flipping the top card yet. So now I look at my hand, and I'm looking, okay, so this is a brand new deck, so you won't have jokers in here. So I'm looking at my cards, and I'm thinking about, what can I get here? Now, if I had a 9 in between this 8 and the 10, that would be great. Right here, if I had a 9, that would be another run. If I had a queen, I could get those 3 in a row. I don't have anything in my hand right now. If I had a 7, there, that would be a great hand. But what happens is after we pick our cards, there will be a top card flipped. And so there might be a 7, there might be a 9, there might be a queen. So let's just say I'm gonna feel ambitious. I'm gonna hope there's a 9 because that could be a great hand. So I'm gonna take these 2 cards and I'm gonna set them over here because my partner will have that as their crib. Now I don't know what they're doing. Obviously in this game I will. So let's say in this hand, we know that a ace is worth 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5. And the face cards, a king, a queen, a jack, and a 10 are worth 10. So together this would be a 15 worth 2 points. And then I could use this other, that would be another 2. So the chances are there's a lot of 10s, jacks, queens, kings. Maybe a 10 comes up. So maybe I keep these cards. There's a lot of other strategy. We're not going to get into all that now. But just for the sake of this game, they're going to throw these cards. All right, so this is my hand. This is their hand. Now, because they're the dealer, I would then cut it. And then this card is the top card. Now, that's really great for them. They're going to get a lot of points. Now, because they're the dealer, I go first. I will play 10. And their turn. Again, they're trying to get either runs, they're trying to get a set, a matching card, or they're trying to make a 15 or a 31. So let's just say they do another 10. So I had 10, they played, that's worth 10, so we're at 20. My turn. Okay, I could play another 10, and that will be 30. And I'm like, oh, they probably don't have an ace. 30, I'll get a point, but oh wait, they have an ace. So we're at 30 points, and they play an ace, which is 1, so the count is 31. So they get how many points? Sorry, I'm totally talking to 5th graders. Probably not a lot of 5th graders going to watch this, but a lot of other people, so you get it. We have 31 for 2 points. 1, 2. 31. Okay, now they still get these cards, right? I'll get these back. Now I have to go because they were the last one to play. I play an 8. They don't really have any choice for strategy. They play a 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. I play an 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. Then they play a 4 for 24. Now there was no runs in here because there were no cards that ended up being a group of 3 in a row. There were no pairs, and we didn't end on a 31 or anything special, but they played the last card, so they get 1 point. All right, now we're done with the pegging part, and now we look at my hand. Well, I was hoping for that 9 because I thought that would be really great, and I was kind of like, oh, it's worth the risk. That ace doesn't help me at all. I can't make any 15 because 8 plus 8 is 16. I'm not going to make a 15. You can't make a 31 in your hand. That's only for that pegging round. That's a good clarification there. So I have a pair for 2 and a second pair for 4. So 4 points. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I only got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's their turn. Oh my. Okay. So remember, 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 10 is 15. That's 15 for 2. Let's see, that's 15 for 2. That's a different 15 for 4. I always get mixed up on this. That's a 15 for 6 and another 15 for 8. So different 15s. And then a pair for 10 and a pair for 12. So they ended up having a really, really great hand. And who knows, maybe I messed up the math. Sometimes you do mess up the math after you get really good at this game and you've played a lot. Sometimes, depending on your level of competitiveness, people will call you out on your math. I believe that was right, but I'm multitasking, so who knows. All right, so they got 12 points. And then they get the crib. And so they'll look at the crib, what ended up being in there. Nothing really too fancy in here. Other than a 6 plus 9 makes 15, so that's 2 points. See if this helps at all, because you can take this card. Doesn't really help them at all. They had a 15, there's nothing else there, so they got 2 points. All right, so that's the end of just the second round. So here we are, after 2 rounds, we're about here. We're trying to get all the way up here. Whoever gets to 121 first wins. All right, I'm gonna do a quick pause here. You can use the timestamps to skip on around, but here I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna show you some of the scoring possibilities. So instead of showing you here, do a quick screen share to show you some of the possibilities of how to make points. Again, you can pause, you can go back and forth, watch it over and over again. Best way is to just jump in and play. That's the best way. So here are a couple of those possible point combinations. So first up, I will say you can use those timestamps, skip ahead if you don't need to get this overview right now. Really, I just want to go through a lot of these different combinations for points and how much it's worth. It is helpful as well. You know, you can print documents that have kind of a cheat sheet. I highly recommend just start playing the game. Don't get overwhelmed by all the point possibilities. But as we shared earlier, if you ever make a 15, if you get 2 cards together that add up to 15, it's worth 2 points. So 9 plus 6, 15. A queen or a king or a 10 or a jack is a 10, plus 5, 15. You can also have a combination 2 plus 9 is 11, 11 plus 4 is 15. It doesn't matter the number of cards just as long as it equals 15. A pair is worth 2 points, so any 2 cards of the same number or the same rank. 3 of a kind is worth 6 points, just because I can pair up these two, I could pair up these two, and these two, so it's worth 6 points. And with that same logic, 4 of a kind is actually worth 12 points. So if in your hand, the combination of your hand and the top card, you're able to get 4 of a kind, that's worth 12 points. A run, in other games, it's known as a straight, is anytime you have 3 or more cards in order. So that could be ace 2 3, it could be jack 10 queen, it could be 4 5 6. As long as it's 3 or more, each card in that run is worth 1 point. So if it's 7 in a row, it's worth 7 points. Now in this example here, this would be like when we were pegging earlier. Let's say my opponent played a 3, and then I played a 2, a 4, and they weren't able to play anymore, so I played all these cards. If the last 5 cards that were played, they compose a run. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though they're not in order, the last 5 cards make a run of 5. Or in this situation, these last 6 cards happen to be a run of 6, so it could be a run of 6. Don't get worried about that. You'll figure that out in time. A flush is, of course, 4 of the same suit. So let's scroll on down real quick, just in case you don't know what suits are, right? Diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades. If you have 4 cards that have this all hearts, it's worth 4 points. So that's your hand. If you had 4 clubs, it'd be worth 4 points. Then there's also the potential of, hey, I have a 5 and the queen, that's a 15. I have the 2 and the 3, which make 5 plus the 10. So a flush, 4 points. You can get 5 points if that top card, remember we have the deck, if the top card has the same suit. In that situation, it would be worth 1 more point. So that's 5 points. All right, rank, this is just kind of some basic stuff. Sometimes this has different names, whether you know it's called knobs or not. When you have a jack that is the same suit as that top card, it's worth 1 point. So if this was my hand, if I had these 4 cards, and the top card was the ace, I would get 1 more point. Or excuse me, if it was the ace of hearts, it matches. That's worth 1 point. And as we showed earlier, if the top card is a jack, whoever is the dealer that round gets 2 points. Pegging, 31's worth 2 points. Last card's worth 1 point. We talked about these, so that's why I'm skipping ahead. I do recommend going to a website, right? So the video is super helpful. I find the videos are most helpful to get an overview, but then to kind of slow down, can get the gist of it all. And so here, if you, this is wikihow.com. Play Cribbage is a great example of how you can see how to play. So there's a lot of great resources out there to help with gameplay. This is just that I showed earlier. It's just something I made for my students, little posters to help learn in class. But there's other documents or cheat sheets. Best way to learn is to play. All right, in my experience, the best way to learn is to play. So we're just going to do 1 more round. We're not going to go all the way around for 121. That's ridiculous. So we'll just do a quick hand. Maybe see something a little different this time. So again, multitasking. Let's check my cards. So for me, let's see. I have a king, queen, jack. That's a run. Oh, I gave myself 7 cards. Of course I did. King, queen, jack. That's a run of 3. That'll be 3 points. Or I have the 9, 9, 7. If I got an 8 that flipped up, let's say I'm the dealer. It wouldn't matter. Both of us could access the 8. If I got the 8, that would be fantastic. If I got the 10, but let's say I am the dealer. That means the crib is mine. At the end of the round, I get those cards to make something. So if I was giving this to my partner, my opponent, I wouldn't want to give them free points. A pair of 9s is worth 2 points. Sometimes I might, depending on my hand, but because I know I'm going to get these cards at the end, I'm going to give myself these 2 cards because I know at least I'm giving myself 2 points, and I at least have a run of 3. There's a lot more strategy here, a lot more to look at. My partner, this is my partner's hand, and I like to put them in order. Of course, this is going to be reversed to you, so let's try and be a little bit more thoughtful. Okay, so here's what this partner could do. They could look at it like this. Hey, 5 plus 10, that's going to be a 15. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 10 is another 15. So that's 4 points. And in the deck, every 10 jack, queen, and king that come up is a 10. So maybe they're going to think, okay, we'll do that. So again, there's other strategy here, but let's just say this is what they do. So they throw me that. This is their hand. This is my hand. Put their hand over here. Then they cut it. And let's just make things interesting. Let's say that they cut a, if I even have any in here, apparently I don't. Let's say they cut a jack. All right. One interesting thing, knobs and nibs. In this game, if the card that's cut on top is a jack, whoever the dealer is that round gets 2 points. So even though they cut it, because I'm the dealer, if a jack comes on top, it's just one of those things. Jacks are special. I get 2 points. Cool. All right. I'm the dealer, so they start. So let's say they start with 10, and I'll play a king for another 10. So we're at 20. Then they're going to play 5, 25. I can't play anything because a 10 would be 35, too big. A jack is a 10, that'd be 35, too big. A 7 would be 32, too big. So I have to say, go. So that means they get 1 point because it's not a 31, but they played the last card. Oh, excuse me, let me back up. That's 10, 5, that's 25. They actually have to play. So it's 25. I can't play, it's not possible, but if you have a card that can play, you have to play it. So it's at 25, they have to play that for 28. And then and then I would still, I already said go. They have to play that next card. It's at 30. So they still only get 1 point because it's not 31, but you have to keep playing if you can. So they get 1 point. Now they're all out of cards, so it's my turn. I don't have anything fancy here, so I'll just go 10. The queen's 10. Jack is another 10, so we're at 20. Plus 7, 27. The last card, nothing fancy, but because I played the last card in that pegging session, I get 1 point. Okay, my partner's turn, my opponent's turn. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 10 is 15. That's 2 points. Another 15 for now we're at 4 points because they get another 2. We're at 4. A 15 for now they're at 6 points because a 15 is 2. And another 15 for 8 points. So they ended up getting 8 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, my turn. I ended up getting a little double run here. So that jack I get to use. So I have a run of 3 for 3 points. I can use this jack for a run of 3 for now 6 points. Pair for 8 points. So a double run is always going to be worth 8 points. And then you add in any 15s. There's no 15s to add here. But I got 8 points. The 7 didn't do anything for me. So I get 8 points for that double run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And now I come to the crib. The pair of 9s that I gave myself, that's worth 2 points. There's no run here. It's really close. If I had a 7 or a 10, that'd be great. But 6 plus 9 makes 15. In this game, you'll start picking up that, 6s and 9s make 15s. 8 and 7s make 15s. You'll start seeing those combinations. So I have 15 for 2. I have 15 for 4. And then I have a pair, which is 2 more points. So I have 6. And then the jack didn't help me here. So I'd get 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and so then we would just keep playing until whoever gets to 121 first, then they'd win that game. Now, there are some boards that look a little different. On this board here, you can kind of see the engraving where it says start and it says end. Most players know, hey, I start here, I end here. It's pretty common. But there is a little word right here that you can see is skunk. So in this game, if I'm going all the way around, and if I win and my partner is behind the skunk line, the skunk line of how many points. I believe it's 90, 90, 95, 100, 105, 10, 15, 20. Yeah. So if my partner doesn't pass that, in this game, we would count that as 2 wins. So let's say I go all the way around and, oh, something crazy. I get great hands and I win here, and my partner isn't past the skunk line. They're like right here. They're so close. So that win, instead of counting as 1 win, would count as 2 wins. Is an option. So those are just other things. There is so much more that we could go over, but that skunk line is one thing to consider down the road. All right, folks, that is cribbage. Now, this presentation, while not the most glorious and amazing, it's not a game channel, right? This is a woodworking channel. There are some great videos out there how to play cribbage, maybe more succinct, cool graphics and all kinds of stuff. Please watch them. My goal with this video is I want people to play cribbage. I love cribbage. It's a lot of fun. Also, as a woodworker, there's a lot of people who like to make these types of projects, right? I have lots of videos on how to make cribbage boards, and I'd love for people to know how to actually play the game cribbage. And so maybe this video will connect people to want to learn more. And if it's not this video that helps you learn another video, great. Find someone who knows the game, play. Best way to learn a game is just to play it, in my opinion. It's just to play it, go through it all. There's lots more strategy. You just got to get more practice and iterations. There's apps. I maybe play the Cribbage app a lot. It's a great game. Expert. It's great. All the analysis on your plays. It's fantastic. So, cribbage. If you are curious about how to make one of these cool boards, I got videos on that. If you want to purchase a board, I do have a website. I can check that down below. Proceeds from all my sales go towards, a percentage goes towards foster care, orphan care, and the Equal Justice Initiative. Lots of details down below there. But hopefully this video helped. This is not my normal thing at all. This is totally different than anything else on my channel, but it's kind of in the ballpark. So if it provided value to you, please consider subscribing, but do not expect to see more game tutorial videos on the channel. It's primarily woodwork. Really cool, beautiful woods. These woods are just incredible, all natural, no dyes, all the colors. It's just fascinating and cool, and it's cool. So thanks for watching. Long-winded, verbose teacher. That's what I do, and that's what this video was. So cribbage, play it. It's fun. Until next time.